Hello Action Light Workers, how are you? Welcome to Friday. Today I'm going to talk about the human condition and just how shit it is. I mean, let's be honest, we're a bit shitty sometimes, aren't we? I mean, humankind, a bit shit. So, I'll tell you a story on the other side. So, we're in the middle of the Sahara Desert and there's the big group of nomads who are working their way through the desert, okay? And anyway, they decide that they're going to camp at an oasis. And so they set up all of the stuff and the servants go and they put all the camels, they tie all the camels up. And what they do is they take a big pin and then knock the pin into the sand and then tie the camel to the pin. Okay. However, they came to see the milkshake, and they said to him, "We've got a problem. We've lost the pin for the last camel. We don't have a pin to tie it to the ground, and it might run off in the night." The sheikh thought, and he said, "Look, camels are stupid animals. All you need do is pretend that you're knocking a pin into the ground, pretend to tie the camel's rope to the pretend pin, and the camel won't move all night." So, sure enough, that's what they did. They pretended to knock the pin in, they got the rope and they pretended to wrap it around the pretend pin, and the camel never moved all night. The next morning, they packed up because nomads don't stay more than a night in a place, and they started to head off. But as they were heading off, the sheikh could hear a camel protesting loudly, because camels make horrible noises, shouting and screaming, this camel. Okay? So he stopped and he said, find out what's going on. Well, one of the servants ran up and he goes, "It's just the camel. It won't move. It won't move. It's shouting and screaming, it's just stood there, it won't move." And the sheikh said, "You did pretend to untie it from the pretend pin, didn't you?" The servant said, "No, I didn't." He went, "Go back and pretend to untie it." And so they went back and they pretended to unwind it from the pretend pin, and the camel was happy as Larry, and off it went, following the rest of the camels. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where so many of humankind are. It's the human condition that we believe that we are tied, or we are bound, that we are held, and it's purely a myth. It's purely a myth. What are those binds that they put on us? Social norms about what one should do and what one shouldn't do. You know, parents are just as much to blame as everybody else. They spend their child's life telling them what one does and one doesn't. You don't do that. What are people going to think of you? You must do that. How many times has a woman who has decided to be a housewife heard the question, "So are you just a housewife then?" Yeah, just a housewife. How many men have heard the question, "So what do you do?" Yeah, what do you do? I ran a course a few years ago, and there was a guy there who said to me, the very first question, he said, "Hello there, what's your degree?" Yeah, as though that was something important. Yeah. So, social norms are these pretend pins that get pinned into the sand that we get tied to. And if we believe them, if we trust that they exist, then we will very happily tie ourselves to them. And now's the time for us to start to see that those pins don't exist, nor does the rope, nor does the oasis. and nor does the fact that we have an owner. And so it's time for us to realize that we are of the desert, free, and we can roam free and do what we like, and we can go together if we want, and we can go on our own if we want, and we can drink from the oasis if we want. It's our choice. We choose. And we've always been able to choose, but it's been dark and we haven't been able to see properly. It's been nighttime. Now the sun's coming up. Now we can start to see, and we look and go, oh, for God's sake, there isn't even a pin there. What on earth have I been doing standing here all fucking night, freezing my arse off? Yeah, when I could have been running around and having a beer. So, the human condition is only the condition that we allow it to be. So what are we allowing, and what should we start to change now? Everything. So have a lovely weekend. I'll see you next week. Bye. I love you all.